Joshua chapter 3, verse 11. Behold, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth passes over before you into Jordan. Now therefore take you 12 men out of the tribes of Israel, out of every tribe a man. And it shall come to pass as soon as the sole of his feet of the priests that bear the ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rest in the water of Jordan, that the waters of Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from above, and they shall stand upon a heap. And it came to pass, when the people removed from their tents to pass over Jordan, and the priests bearing the ark of the covenant before the people, as they bear the ark, were come into the Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark was dipped in the brim of the waters, for Jordan overflowed all his banks all the time of the harvest, that the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon an heap very far from the city, Adam, that is, beside Zortan, and those that came down towards the sea of the plains, even the salt sea, fell and were cut off. And the people all passed over right against Jericho. And the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan. And all the Israelites passed over on dry ground until all the people passed clean over Jordan. Look at somebody and say, you got to step into your miracle. The children of Israel were just like many of you that are standing in here, waiting for God to do something, and God said, I'm not going to do it until first the priests that bear the ark of the covenant to the sole of his feet step in first. And those that will follow the priests, which stood in the midst of the Jordan with the ark of the covenant that represent the promise of God, those that will follow the promise. Look at somebody and say, what are you following? Shall be blessed. Do I got anybody in here that said, you know, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm stepping into my miracle this morning. I'm finna step. I've been sitting. I've been clapping. I've been holding my peace. But look at somebody and say, you better get to stepping. Take your seats. The children of Israel are standing in a familiar place because 40 years prior to this event, their parents stood at the Jordan River. They did not get a breakthrough, but what they received was a breakdown. Their faith failed them. Right at the Jordan River, they forfeited their promise that God had promised them. He still created them and loved them and sustained them 40 more years. Later, they are now back at the Jordan River. My God. Somebody said, I've been around this Jordan before. one generation failed to step in because they were afraid of the water. But now 40 years later, they are back at the Jordan, and now God gives Joshua instruction. Tell the priests, go get the Levites that bear the ark of the covenant. Tell them to step in first. And when they step into the Jordan, they're going to see a miracle. But how many folks God is nudging to believe him and to trust him and to do something that's going to require you to step out by faith? That you're sitting there talking about, I believe God, I know God can do it, I know he'll do it somehow, and God has said, all I want you to do is activate your faith, step into something that you've never done before, do something that you think you cannot do. I'm with you, I'm for you, and if I be for you, I'm more than the whole world against you. I want to share a few points with you. Point number one of the greatest tragedies in life is to live and never discover your destiny. But what's worse than that is to discover your destiny and forfeit it. What do you mean? I want to talk to just somebody this morning that's in this place. I want to talk to this generation that I believe is a Joshua generation. I believe God has given us this group of young people, not because we are afraid, but because we are challengeable. We believe in accepting the challenge, and we believe that God can do anything but fail. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking to somebody in here who know you have a destiny over your life. You know that there's a reason and a purpose for your existence. I'm talking to somebody in here that God has ordained, and God knows he's got a blessing covering you, who's not afraid, who's not intimidated, who's not willing to give up, but will make up in their mind to say, I'm willing to go through whatever I got to go through, because if God has promised me something, I know he's faithful and just to keep his promise. I'm talking to somebody in here who have a fight in them. Do I got any fighters in here? Do I got any Calebs in here? Caleb, at the age of 85 years old, made this statement, give me my mountain. Caleb didn't ask for somebody else's mountain, but Caleb said, I know God has promised me this mountain. Do I got anybody in here that know that God has made you a promise? You don't want nobody else's stuff, but you want what God has promised you, and you say, I will declare my mountain today, my God, that God, I want everything you promised me. I want everything you said was for me. I'm willing to fight. I'm willing to struggle. I'm willing to do whatever I got to do. Where are you? I'm talking to somebody here who refused to not settle for less when God has given you his best. I'm talking to somebody in here. Somebody who has made up their mind that whatever it costs, whatever I got to go through to get my promise, God, if I got to go all by myself, if I got to scream, if I got to run, if I got to jump, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm talking to somebody. If I'm talking to you, jump up and say, give me my mountain. You understand that the kingdom of God suffers violence, and violence take it by force. You're not waiting on the devil to give you your stuff, but you're willing to declare, this is mine. It's been promised to me. You've been on my land. You've been living in my house. You've been driving my car. You've been dealing with my money. You have me held up long enough, but now I declare I'm stepping into my miracle. Lift your hands and say, Lord, help me today. You're not satisfied. Take your seat. Who I'm talking to. You're not satisfied with just going to work, paying your bills. And at the end of paying your bills, you start all over. You don't have money for next week. You're tired of being broke, busted counted and disgusted. I'm talking to somebody here. It's taking everything you got just to survive. When it's time to sow seed, you don't even have money to give.